You know, one of the things I get tired of hearing on the internet again and again and again is that you need a gun because we live in dangerous times. Someone's going to, steal your wife and impregnate your dog, and you got to be able to fight back. It's dangerous out there. Well, that's just not true. Facts are, most people will probably never, ever need a gun. That's just the reality of it. We live in pretty safe times. We live in a very safe country. Over the last 30 years, we've gotten to where more and more people openly carry firearms outside their home than ever before. All statistics point to that being a fact, and crime has been dropping like a rock pretty consistently over the last several decades. The reality is, you probably need a gun to defend yourself from violent attackers less now than you've ever needed one in the history of this country. Now, I know a lot of people on the internet like to tell you differently. They like to tell you you're in danger all the time. Now, these people fall into two categories, in my opinion. People that are trying to sell you on something like training or firearms, etc., actually trying to physically give you something and you give them money, or people that think the best way they can garner support for the Second Amendment is to make people afraid. And both of these types of people are completely wrong. If you want to worry about something, you should worry much more about being injured by a car, or a bad diet, or just tripping over the curb on the way to catch the bus than you ever should be worried about being attacked by someone with a handgun or a rifle or any type of firearm. The chances of it happening to you as an individual is pretty slim, much more slim than those other things I mentioned. Some people even love to go as far as to misquote information like saying, "Oh, home invasions are on the rise. 4 or 5 armed men are going to attack you in your home. It's a statistical fact." No, it isn't. What you're doing is misquoting a study done on border towns a decade or two ago about rival drug gangs attacking the headquarters of other rival drug gangs, and people have taken that information and misinterpreted it and falsely tried to say it applies to you and me, which it doesn't. The fact is, violent crimes against individuals are on the decline very sharply. And you got to remember, some of the things they consider violent crimes aren't even that violent. In some states, breaking and entering is a violent crime. Even if you're not home, it's still a violent crime. So actually being attacked in this country is something that very seldomly happens and isn't very likely to happen to you. Now, one thing I will add to this is in the home is where most cases of self-defense with a firearm actually occur. When you're in your home or on your property, that's when you're going to be most likely to use a gun to defend yourself or your family. Once you walk outside your door into public, your chances of being attacked go down considerably. And even though a lot of people do use a gun for self-defense every year, it's like 500,000, upwards of 1 million people every year use a gun successfully for self-defense, very few of them ever have to fire it, and most of them are in their home, and most of them aren't even being attacked by another armed person. They're just using that gun as an equalizer to save their lives. Trying to frighten people into supporting the Second Amendment is not the way to go about supporting our cause. We're better than that as gun owners. Doing that is almost as bad as these people out there that try to use fear and lies to make people afraid of firearms. We can be better than that. We are better than that. We don't have to use fear. There are plenty of good reasons to own a firearm. Like I said before, you're probably never going to need a firearm for self-defense. You're probably also never going to need a helmet or a seatbelt or that fire extinguisher under your kitchen sink, but there's still lots of really good reasons to have them there. We don't have to make people think they're going to have to use their gun tomorrow to make them realize there's a very good reason that the Second Amendment exists. There's a good reason why the Founding Fathers made that a very important part of our Constitution. That firearm isn't there because you're going to be attacked tomorrow. It's there just in case. Just in case you need to defend your home, your family, or in the case of the way this country's been going lately, your freedom.